So generally, this session is more of a bit of a newbie and high-level information, but because Geelong and Woy Woy have been using the system for a few more years, you may have a few more questions. So, and it may just help highlight some stuff that you've always kind of thought about but never knew. So, versus Wyong, obviously this is your first season, so you may have a few more newer questions. So everyone, feel free to jump in at any point in time. And if you want me to hurry up or slow down or go in a different direction, this is your time. I'm here to offer up any knowledge or insights. So hit me and let's see where we go. So a bit of an overview. ResultsHQ is in the middle of this picture here, but the journey starts for all athletes, as you're fully aware, over here in IMG. So Sports Technology Group, it's nowadays called. So that's where obviously all the online registrations happen. To get athletes from IMG across to ResultsHQ, you just need to make sure that they're active and that they're financial. Some people forget that, and so they're getting frustrated hitting the IMG sync button often and not getting the members across that they had hoped for. So just make sure that they're active and financial in IMG, and then they'll come across to ResultsHQ. Now, just like Facebook and NetBank and all those things, ResultsHQ is web-based. As long as you've got a browser with some internet, then everything you need to do is in a web browser. So on a phone or on a tablet or on a PC or a laptop, just get some internet and the right credentials and you can jump in there. Tonight as well, we're just going to run through the timing software called RaceHQ and the offline results entry application called CompetitionHQ. Who here's, so I know Geelong and Woy Woy are using the gates at the moment, so you're quite familiar with the timing software. Wyong, have you had a look at the RaceHQ application at all yet?
No, we haven't.
Okay. And of everyone that's here tonight, has everyone seen or had a play with CompetitionHQ at all?
Nope, haven't from Wyong.
No. Nadine, have you?
No, Woy Woy hasn't.
No.
Yes, scarily enough. Thanks,
Yep.
Nadine.
Yep. Okay, so we're just going to run through the new version of this timing software, and just to help people that haven't ever seen CompetitionHQ before, we're going to run through that. Now, these two are offline. They do not need internet to work. They just need, for these two, the default is Windows. As long as you've got a Windows laptop or a PC, or even Windows tablets these days, then you can use these two applications, and you can just download them from the support area and just use them as you see fit. The other little line on here is high-tech meet manager. So if you do want to do nominations in ResultsHQ and then spit out the nominations to high-tech, then you can to meet manager. There is also a line that's missing off here, which goes from RaceHQ. You can work directly with meet manager for the day, pretending that you are a photo finish type scenario. Who's that with their mic on? Oh, Renee, you've still got your mic on. We can hear you shuffling around there.
Okay, how do I turn it off?
Little mic with a line through it up the top, near the camera with a line through it. Feel free to turn it on if you've got any questions. It just stops with any background noise. So I'll just jump in now to RaceHQ and CompetitionHQ, because their goal is no internet required. Store up the whole morning or the whole evening and then go and upload it in one hit. And then it means straight away in the family area, they get to see it. Otherwise, you can use these with internet and upload results race by race or event by event, and their family will then be able to see it real time. The moment you press upload, they'll be able to view it. So just jump into those two applications right now. So just clear out of here. So I'm just going to start with the timing software, RaceHQ. Just going to open this up. As mentioned, this is Windows only. However, CompetitionHQ is Windows and Android. So if you prefer to use an Android phone or tablet, then there is a way to get your hands on the CompetitionHQ, which is Android, and we can walk you through how to do that after if you like. So the default use for RaceHQ is this screen that I'm in now, Pack Racing. If you don't have any gates and you just want to time something like you do with a Seiko multi-timer, or even if you do have a set of gates, but you also want to run some 8s and 15s without needing gates, then this application does the same thing. If you do happen to ever get some photo finish scenario, whether it's Amiga or finish links, this same application can read in that information. And then there's obviously the older Tasmanian ATP timing gates. Some really cool stuff in here for start line for handicaps and that sort of thing. If you need to go to your saved events, that's a very common area. You want to jump in there and review events that you've saved from today or from last week or 2 months ago. If you are using timing gates, you can set them up in a different configuration and use it as a acceleration scenario. So I've got left and right hand posts, and as I run through it, that starts the clock, and then I've got another one at the 5 meter and one at the 10 and then one at the 20. So then for your coaches and so on, they can use that as some good bit of speed or acceleration testing. And then swimming, RFID, and pack, but we'll just stay on pack land. So I don't have any gates turned on. I don't have any start devices or triggers. I just go straight through to run a race. But actually, before I go there, just to clarify how the members come in, up here in the settings, I just hit refresh, and then that would just bring down from the center that I've connected to my latest members, PBs, records, and so on. I'm just going to go race. This is now my Seiko multi-timer. If I put the mouse over here, it's telling me if you want to use your control key to start your race, you can. Otherwise, click on this to start. I always prefer the control key if I'm doing manual starts, because when I'm using my mouse, I tend to kind of move my head and move the mouse at the same time, and I miss my starts. So control key starts the race. Race is going. I still haven't selected an event. Clock's happening. Kids are about to hit the finish line. I use the shift key. Get some times. If you're using timing gates, then it saves me having to hit the shift. That's just happening. Race is still running. I can choose an event now if I want, or later on, but I'll just select it now. Tap in numbers. Brings up the age and the gender and the club. If I don't want to see the club because they're all going to be my club, I can come into here, turn clubs off, hide that away. If I want to make a bit more room because I've got some big long names at my center, I can just drag that out. If they don't have a number on the chest because they've forgotten it, then you can just start typing in a name until you find the right combination that you're looking for. Is that NIC Nicholas? And then it will bring up their number as well as who they are and so on. And we can see here, this athlete's got a PB with the star. And then we just continue on. If we had a visitor, I can just write in visitor Jack or hack if I can't spell. And then that will just hold that as a place marker for later on. Otherwise, another way to handle visitors is just boom, press enter and skip past them. No number, no name. You don't get any results until you sign up and pay your money. So there's different ways to manage your visitors or your trialists. Either leave it blank or put a reference in so you can go back and sort it out later on. If I wanted to, I could start the next race. And again, it's telling me if I use the Alt key, I can start the race behind. When I press stop on here, while I'm still processing this race, if I want to, I can get some times in that background race. If I wanted to upload as I press save, then up here in settings, we've got automatically upload race when saving. So that's turned on. Because I don't have any age, gender events, it will try and then it will bomb out because there wasn't any events to try and upload against. And there's those times in the background. Add some more. If I need to edit a time, then I can. Just right click, come in here, change it. Now I've got 39. If I want to get rid of a time, I just click on it. A little bin appears. Go and drag it into the bin. Basically, that's just the functionality of this. If I've got a bunch of names and it knows this event, up here it shows me all, because I've got a whole bunch of age genders, here's all the records for the different age genders that are currently on my screen. So if I want to know what the record is without someone having to potentially break that record, just come up here and it'll show me all the records that it has available for the age gender combinations on the screen. If I need to write a comment, then I can, and then I'll stop the race. And then when I save, it's going to try and upload again. And everywhere that it's uploading to is up to ResultsHQ if I have one set up, but also it saves locally. So just by clicking on this little save icon, here's my unknowns that I put in, visitor Jack, and I had a blank from the second race. So that's visitor Jack and the blank. If there was a comment, then that would be in this field, but I can go up to the next one, and that's where I had my comment that I just put some garbage in there. It tells me if it was a manual start versus an electronic start. So if I just close out of here, I'll explain what I mean. So if I had a timing gun connected up, instead of me pressing the control key, straight away we see an M in brackets, versus if I had a wireless start device, that would be E. So we knew whether it was an electronic or a manual start. So that's the basics of the software. Any questions or thoughts about that one?
It looks a lot more functional this time.
We've tried to clean it up and use that full real estate and give you a few more options to allow to do a few more things if you want to. How about Renee, is that something that you think you may want to use as a manual timer? Are you using Seiko multi-timers at the moment or stopwatches with parents?
Yeah, so we've got stopwatches with parents,
Yep.
but it looks like it'd be a lot less work for later on.
Yeah, the only challenge with this, if you're used to having 8 lanes and 8 stopwatches, especially for your 70s or anywhere from 100 meters down to 60 meter, this still brings up the challenge of somebody having to hit that shift key quick enough to have 8 times at a blanket finish across the finish line. So you may still want to stay with your stopwatch scenario for that, with 8 different fingers pressing the button.
Yeah, I'm thinking more for the round track event.
2, 4, 8, 15, that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Definitely. So just by doing that, it's going to save a lot of data entry and in theory, maybe help speed things up. Not that those things
I like the idea that I can have, because especially with our walks and the longer distances, we quite often have the mixed genders and the mixed age groups.
Yep.
And traditionally what I've had to do is enter them all in just by the gender and by the age group separately.
Yep.
So I like the idea of just being able to put their numbers in and not having to go through and sort that all out.
And see, this is good for your walks. If someone finishes, but it turns out they get DQ'd, it bombs out their place, it gives this, and it'll upload their time still, but it'll say that was a disqualification. So they'll still see that they did something, and they'll still get participation points. They won't get a place, but they will still have a reference to what they did on the night.
Yeah, no, that looks great for the walks.
Cool. So by all means, jump in, have a play. That's just up in the help area if you haven't already got a copy of that. And this little question mark up the top, this will actually open me up to the help area. So it's just support@timingsolutions.com.au. And if I scroll down, here's this new 3 series that we're playing with right now, versus up here is all the existing current software that people have been using, but we're moving everyone across to this. Once we get more feedback and everyone's having fun with it, then this will become the default application. Cool. Okay, so everyone's cool with RaceHQ, so I'll jump out of there.
Sorry, Nick, should we be starting with that downloading soon to start the season, or?
Good question. I'm leaving that up to centres to play with it, and I'm not forcing you to do anything. It's like, this is what we're going to. Have a play, get comfortable, and then make a decision within, because you've got a number of sets at your location, maybe front or back straight trial at first if you like, and then if they're happy, and then maybe let the other guys have a go, and when everyone's ready, then fully transition, something like that, or however you want to do it. But that's the end goal, is everyone will jump onto this for moving forward.
Nick, I've just got a question about the new software. does it have the capability on a straight track? Last season we had our under 17s who ran 100-metre hurdles. We only had one girl that was in that that age group, and she would walk around and do all her events with the 15 girls, I think it was, who run an 80-metre hurdle.
Yep.
Does it have the functionality to run both races in the one?
Yep.
Like put both events in the one race?
Yeah.
But obviously, like interim as separate.
Yeah.
Like as one would be in as a 100-metre hurdle race, and the rest of the girls would have been 80s.
Yeah, so it does do that for pack. I'm not sure if that would work for sprints as well, but the idea behind that scenario has been built in for your cross country being a classic, where you've got different age genders running, but the 7 and 8s do the 2K, the 9s to 12 do the 3, and so on, but everyone's off.
Yep.
And then they'll come back. So that's what this option
Yep.
here does. So I lose my traditional drop down, I get this, and then I choose whichever genders. So in your case, it'd be maybe something like that, or you don't have 16s in New South.
Yep.
And females, and then it would bring up, I would download, and it would say, oh, the 17 females are doing the 100 meters, and the 15s are doing 80, and I just go tick, tick. And then I wouldn't have an event displayed up here, it would just stay this button. And then I would see as my 17 got their name keyed in, I would go, oh, that's 100 meters. And as the 15's got theirs keyed in, I go, oh, that's 80 meters, and then upload to their respective event.
Okay, that's great. Because what we used to do is make this girl have to run it on her own, and she would often say to us, oh, it'd be nice to run with the other girls, even though we're not competing in the same event. It just makes her run faster if she's got someone to run against.
Yep. Well,
almost like she was chasing them down. Yeah.
Well, the other way to manage that is, because the timing software can only upload to a known age gender event, if you made the default without going down this path, if you made the default, let's say that was 100-meter hurdles, I had that, and she would be the only one that matched that age gender event combination. The other 5 in the race that are doing the 80-meter, they wouldn't upload. So I would just go into saved events, find that race, change it from 100 to 80 meters, and re-upload. And the 17-year-old wouldn't upload because she didn't do an 80-meter, but the other 5 who had an 80-meter would upload. So it just takes 2 uploads by changing the event for each focus, is a way that you could currently do it, if that makes sense.
Yep, no, that makes sense.
Cool.
I don't think, Kylie, we didn't really think of doing that, did we? You know who I'm talking about, a couple of years ago with that
Yeah, no, that looks really quite easy to do actually, so we'll trial it.
Cool, all right. Any other questions on race before I shut down?
Does the space bar still work? Because you're saying hit the shift key for each athlete. Does the space bar still work?
No, we took that out just because we've had a number of people that were missing times from using the space bar versus the shift key. Even if I'm in here writing a name and I hit the shift, I still get times. So it's just much more reliable to get that. So we're trying to tell people if they mouse over the trigger, it actually tells them press the shift to get a trigger or a time. Well, what we've been thinking of doing is making that an option. You tell the software which key you want to hit to get a trigger and which key you want to hit to get a start. So that would allow you to customize it to whichever one you wanted to do. Any other questions? Okay, we'll go jump into CompetitionHQ then. I'll just go dig through my folder. Put a shortcut out to the desktop. So in case you weren't aware, all the applications let you see if there's an update just by clicking on the version number itself. So actually I'll demonstrate that right now. I'll grab an older version. So I go to 17. When that opens up, it does its usual startup sequence. Same goes for the timing software, they all do this. The version number when it loads up will be yellow and it'll kind of flash. See down here, it's flashing. And if I mouse over it, it's telling me there's an update available. If I click on that, it tells me what's happened, why there is an update. And then I just hit this and it'll download it. And then it would ask me if I want to restart. So it would shut down the current application I'm in and it would open up the new one. So if you're ever wondering, oh, is there a new version? Just put the mouse over there, and if it's a funny color, well then go for it. As long as you've got a little bit of time. That downloads, depending on your internet, will only take 15, 20 seconds to do. So here's CompetitionHQ. Some people with good internet prefer to use this over ResultsHQ to key data in. So it doesn't have to be if you're only stranded with bad internet that you think about using this. Some people go for it regardless of their internet. They just find it more user-friendly, particularly where they're mashing together ages and genders because they're a smaller club, or just that's the way they prefer to key data. They don't like waiting for web pages to load and having currently in the ResultsHQ, you can only key one age gender per screen. You can't mash together ages and genders. So by that I mean if I'm in here, the normal ResultsHQ entry method is only one combination of an age and a gender and an events like this, versus in this one I can bring together two genders on the one screen. I can even bring together two genders and two age groups, or everyone, depending on how we roll, what we want to do. It also has the other benefit, if I turn all these off, but I've just chosen my distance, you can see here there's an ID field. So it lets me do it on the fly. So if I just key in the athlete's number, so I don't have to go and select anything, it's selecting them for me based on the ID that I'm putting in and then the age and gender that those athletes are. I can then click on these and sort them A to Z, Z to A, 1 to X, X to 1, that sort of thing. It's up to you how you want to do it. But this is just some of the benefits that people find in this versus ResultsHQ. Over here I've got my status. So if I key in a result, I don't need to hit the decimal. I just key in, I'm just going to do 1, 2, 3. If I hit tab, I go across. If I hit enter, I go down. So I don't even have to always fill in the first result first. If I go 2, 3, 4 and hit enter, we've now got first place and second place based on these two results from some random locations. That doesn't all have to be in the first result column. With this athlete here, if they happen to do a better one on their second attempt, then they're now first based on their best. Both of these guys have PBs, and we can see there's a cloud with a line through it, meaning that it hasn't uploaded. This person here ends up doing an awesome one, 4 meter flat. They're now first. This person here may have bombed out on this one. So I'm just going to put an N for Nelly, and it just makes that a no jump straight away. If this athlete down here had an N, a no jump, their status automatically changes to no jump over here. But if they then happen to do all right on their second one, it changes it back to okay because they're actually got some results and some place values. If we're following from paper trail and we're not worrying about 3 attempts, yep.
Just with that no jump, so if the status ends up as no jump, will that link up for a participation point?
Correct. So if you are running 1 point for every event that you do, or 1 for turning up, then that will still get something.
Okay, thank you.
The only time you won't get a participation point is if this stays as DNS. So we could use anything else but DNS to get a participation status. So if we are running from paper, we could just go and key numbers in and keep hitting enter down the screen. I don't have to go and fill out all 3 and let it decide. It would just base it on whatever screen I'm doing. You may notice as well, there isn't a save button on the screen anywhere. There is an upload and a print and export, but the moment we move from one cell to the next, it's saving as we go. So if it did happen to crash right now, then everything that's on the screen would still be there. We can see here as well, we've got a potential record, a little trophy with a line through it. So that would then upload and go into our potential record area, unless I wanted to validate it now. Questions about CompetitionHQ at this point in time? All good. So if we're doing track because we didn't want to use the timing software, or it's that 100 meters or below, like maybe what you've got at Wyong there, Renee. If I go to track events, and I just throttle this back to just an age, gender, all it's asking for now is just the one time, because obviously we don't have 3 attempts for track. Again, I could go and turn off all this, and I'm just being given a list of names or numbers and a list of times. So this is pretty handy in a track scenario where I've got left-hand column on my bit of paper has athlete numbers and the right-hand column has times. Then I just go 34, tab, did a 12:34, enter. 54, tab, did a 11:23, enter, and so on. And I just keep working my way down my bit of paper. So that's another way to get data in quickly. If you are running mixed age genders and it's all coming in via pen and paper, then that may be a way to help save some time with that. Another cool one is if you're running high jump. I need to turn high jump on, so I'm just going to go up here to event list. I know that the default event includes high jump, so I'm just going to click that to save some time. I thought it did, it doesn't, so I'll come back up here, go to events, come down here to jumps, expand this out, come on down to high jump, and I like the normal high jump. Where was that one? Right there. Pink. Now, if I come out of here and turn my hundreds off and go into high jump, and I've got this option turned on, then it lets me do my countbacks. So if I wanted a 1 meter starting height, then I just put 1 and press tab. If the next height happened to be 102, then I just do 102, tab. So I've gone from 1 meter to 102. These athletes on the screen, this guy's not here, so I'll miss that one, miss that one. This is the first athlete that jumps. And so I click once into their field and I get a green circle, success. So far they're the best of 1 meter and they're first place. PB and not uploaded yet, status of okay. This athlete here misses on the first but gets on the second. Second place, same height, PB, no upload status. This one here happens to just make it through. Takes them 3 goes, but they get there in the end, so first, second, third. This athlete down here, however, they're a hot shot, they're sitting out and they're waiting. They've got a status of no jump until they start clearing some heights. Now they're an okay, they're first on a meter 2. These guys here, they all clear on the next one. So we've got an equal first with a third and a fourth happening. Otherwise, if we're keying in from paper and we don't want to worry about all the countback logic, then if I just take this off, come up to settings, into general, and we'll do the use simple high jump instead of the fancy pants one. And now all I need to do is key in some heights. So there's a whole bunch of kids that finished at 1 meter. And these guys, based on my bit of paper, this one came second, this one came third, and the other guys were equals, and so on. And then we've had some meter 5s, and it's going to start tweaking everything based on that. Again, we've got PBs and we've got not uploaded. And if this athlete here needed to be a no jump and somebody else turned up and helped out, but they're in a car so they couldn't participate, so I'll actually give them a participation point for good camaraderie. And then I can just upload this and all that data would go up. Any questions or thoughts about this application? Okay. Okay, so back to where we were up to. So we've just looked at the timing software, looked at CompetitionHQ. They don't need internet, but at some point in time you'll upload your results. The moment you do, what it's all about is obviously the family and the kids and getting them engaged in the data and seeing tickets and PBs and all that sort of thing. So that's the kind of the end cycle is registrations come in, you set up the age, gender, event combinations. These little applications here help you get the data in, or you can just key straight into this application itself. The moment you do, families, kids, they get to see the results. So if you are running live events on the day coming in, well then they'll be seeing it live on their phone or tablet trackside or in the stand or wherever it happens to be. That's just a recap on how you can get data in there. So paper recording sheets, timing software from Gates or manual, using CompetitionHQ, but either way, bang, kids get to see it, happy days for them. So the kids, yep.
Sorry, just before you go on, were you able to do anything about the overtyping results? So is it still possible that people could upload using the wrong date again?
In which application?
CompetitionHQ.
So if you,
where people have uploaded over the top of results from a previous week.
So if I've got CompetitionHQ open and I uploaded originally, then meanwhile someone's gone into ResultsHQ, tweaked things based on whatever needed to be tweaked, and then someone goes back into CompetitionHQ thinking they're helping, you go, I'm not sure if I uploaded, I better do that before I kick on with the new week. Is that the scenario?
Something like that.
No, that's haven't built any protection in on that. It's more of a user beware sort of thing. If you do happen to re-upload data, then you will be re-uploading data. Have you had an issue with that, have you?
Well, yeah, we have, because I mean, obviously we have quite a lot of users where we are, and it is something that has happened where, you know, the following week people have accidentally selected the wrong date and uploaded a new set of data over the week before.
If you're using the Android application, it won't let them go and do anything apart from within a couple of days of today. So that would help with that versus the Windows version. As you're fully aware, you can select whichever date, re-look at things.
Yeah.
So that may be the only kind of catch at the moment to help with that scenario, unless we built some extra controls around that.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Okay, so we just have a quick look at the family area. So you may not have been in there since last season, fair enough. Plenty of other things to do in winter, that's for sure. So there's been a bit of a facelift in the family area. So I'll actually jump into the real life thing. So I'm just going to go to the web app. So this is where you'd log in. If you haven't been there, this will look different to last time you were here. It's still resultshq.com.au. The background's changed a bit as well as the rest of it. So if you've forgotten your password, obviously that's where you go. If you're using our registration process, you click on that. But if you want to go to the center admin area where you guys would go, then you click on that and it'll take you to that familiar looking screen. But just back here, families log in. Once they've logged in, again, it's all changed a bit as far as how it looks and feels. You can put your own family photo in for all your kids, make it a bit more interactive. So come up here if you do want to edit that. You go to your profile. This has all the relevant family information, so you can tweak that if you need to. But here's my kids, and this is where I can go and update a photo. So let's redo Robert. So we'll just delete that if we wanted to, browse for the new one, and then bring that in. And if I needed to change any medical information, then I could, and that would just flow back through to the center admin area. So that's how you add a little bit of extra. And the other cool part is these images here, when you're using the Android application, will actually come up as a little thumbnail against each athlete in that application. So that, again, just helps the volunteers on the day to be able to identify who Robert is and who Owen is, assuming that it's not a picture of Bart Simpson or something like that. So homepage, here's the kids, their latest results for my whole family. If I just wanted to focus on Robert and go have a look at his 800s, this is the history of Robert's 800s. Here's the history of all his events that he's done this season with his season best and the number of PBs. So if I'm just looking at his 800s, I could go and do some tickets just for these. So there's all his 800 tickets. So I could print those. If I wanted to do a little report on his 800 history, then there's his report there. If I mouse over it, it tells me what happened and when. The other cool part is the center name here. If Robert went and participated at an inter-center competition or participated at a region or a zone or a state event that happened to be using ResultsHQ, then it would show all the 800s from the start of the season through to the end of the season. Mashed in here in date order would then be the center name that he was associated those results to. So his 800s for the season, then he went to an inter-center comp, and then he went to the states and did really well, and the zones, and then he's back to the last couple of weeks post-Christmas. So all that information would be in here. If we wanted to look at Robert by date, don't click on the date. This brings up what he did on this particular date. And again, I could do the tickets for this date. You could print that off if you like. We'll do a report. Also, if I came up to calendar, if I wanted to, I could do all the tickets for Robert. So that's everything he's done this season and the different events on those different dates. I could do all the tickets that he's ever got for the season. This is about to update, so it's going to be grouped by event type as well, instead of just by date sort order at the moment. The other cool parts, if I've got this option turned on, you have the option in your center administrator area to turn on this results extra component or not. Some centers don't like kids being able to look at other kids' results because of politics within the center and so on. But this is where they could go and start looking at other peers or friends or their favorite athlete that they kind of want to be like one day, whatever it is, and whether it's a PB and so on. It also allows them to go and look at last season's information and then bring up whatever this is based on just their own kids. That won't bring up historical data for every other child. At the moment, it only brings up historical data for your own kids for that season. Next to results up here, we've got records. So again, I could go have a look at the 200 meter record for the 10 male, and that's it sitting there. If I wanted to look at whether there's home or away or other record types, and I could do that too. And if there's historical and current, then it just lets them have a look through there. So we're just trying to help them engage with it a bit more. Any questions on the family area? Okay, so that's that screen there effectively. If you jump onto that same website but on a smaller screen, the screen's adaptive and it changes the look and feel to be more like an app. So that's what this would look like here. You can do certificates from within your center admin that will publish to the family area. So if you've had a cool multi-day or gala day and you want to give everyone a certificate from the day, then you can do that from within ResultsHQ and publish a soft copy into the family area. And then we've had a look at the ticket stuff already. Let's just go to the next tab. And again, here's just a bit of an overview of what we were looking at in the real world just before. What we're working on is to, because we've or Little A's Australia has asked us to replace the hard copy version of what they've got and actually make this a soft copy. So we've got the ticket part already. We're working on these other components here so that you'll be able to do a self or customizable. So your front cover, you can upload your own photo if you want, or there'll be defaults, and then that will allow you to have your own child can have their own booklet from the 16-17 season with some bios that the states have given us, with all the kids' own tickets laid out in there and all the other bits that they normally put in there. So that's what's coming. That's the end goal for the whole new family area. And that's just some screens. Yep.
When's that going to be ready, Nick? Will that be ready for this coming season?
Yeah, that should be ready in around a month or 2 months before that will be up and running. You can currently do all the tickets, but the end of season kind of here's a hard copy to send to grandma sort of version. That should be a couple months out. Any other questions? Rock on. So here's some screenshots of the mobile app. So as I mentioned before, it's adaptive. So if you jump on it on a small screen, it will change the look and feel. Still get graphs and tickets and so on. We're also working on an app for Android and Apple. So you won't actually have to go to a browser. You just click on the little icon on your phone or tablet and it'll bring that up. So we've covered off the overview. Had a quick look at the family.
Sorry, Nick.
Yep.
Just that on the phone. When I know we'll probably cover it with nominations later, but is there full accessibility to the system like there would be? So last year when we had nominations for things, they couldn't actually nominate from their phone. They're having trouble doing that.
Yeah. So currently that hasn't changed, but what you've always been able to do is from that phone screen you can go to the desktop version.
Oh, okay.
So you just bypass the appy looking screen and now you've just got to zoom in and out using your fingers to get to the different parts. But that's how that's currently set up. There may be work going into that. It's just not. We're trying to get all the Little A's Australia stuff underway first and then do some more polishing in this area.
So choose desktop screen. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Cool. So we'll go over some of the basics. Rolling the season. Before we get into that, the help area. In case it's been that long and you've forgotten how to ask for help, obviously there's an email, support@timingsolutions.com.au. A few of you have my number still dialed in there, BAT phone. That's always a handy one. But the main one that we try and get people to use is the help forum, and different ways to get to that. If I'm in Center Admin, there's a green question mark on every page. So if I go into a date, I'm like, oh, I've timed out. If I go into a date, I'm like, what the hell do I do in here again? If I hit the green question mark, they'll open up the help topic relating to the area that I'm in. And then I can step through what it's all about and what I'm trying to do. Otherwise, I've got this support tab on the right. I could type in PB, and here's the top 5 results for PBs, and there's another 39 that I could look at. If I click on one of these, again, it will open up the help forum, the topic, and hopefully it's what I've been looking for, and I can continue on with whatever it is I was trying to do. If it wasn't, you're like, bugger this, I don't want to read through all this. Someone just help me, email me, tell me the answer that I'm looking for. I don't have time for this. Then click on this one. Just say, hey, the more detail you give us, the less toing and froing we'll need to try and figure out how we can help you. Your name, email, center, and password, what it is you're approaching there. Then this creates a little ticket, meaning an area kind of like your inbox. You'll still get an email into your normal inbox, but it creates a little sub inbox in the web, and we'll have all the tickets or emails that you've sent us, and the status will either be open or pending or closed. And you can reopen things or follow up without having to hunt through your inbox if you've got quite a busy inbox. And that can be painful, tracking down the last conversation with us. So that's what that's all about there. So the help area, there are your different ways to get to it. Season rollover. Now, Nadine, before everyone else jumped in, was saying, I haven't done that. I haven't done it before. Can you help me out? I was like, yeah, sure. We'll be running through it tonight. And she's actually put her hand up to actually roll her season over for Geelong. Is that still the case, Nadine? Haven't changed your mind on that one? We're ready to roll?
Yeah, you can do it.
Pull the trigger. All right, so I'm going to jump out of demo. Jump into Geelong. Now that I'm in here, we can see all the data from Geelong's season. We can see how the attendance has gone throughout the year, the number of PBs for each week, the number of records for each week, and the points that are being calculated for each week. So it's quite a handy screen to have a look at just to get a feel for what your season's been up to. Once we've done a season rollover, this will all be blank and empty. Doesn't mean we've deleted everything, doesn't mean we can never go back and see it. It just means we're cleaning the slate so that all this call information is not required for the new season. So we get it out of view and we put it in a little side area so we can access it later if we need to. But at least for the new season, I won't be building another 20 or 30 dates on top of this and having the mega screen I'm trying to open up every time. Also means my age gender breakdown here will also zero out because I'll suspend all my members. And again, we're not deleting your members or the history of those members, we're just suspending them. And if they return back, then they will then start repopulating into their new age group and building up the graph week on week as more members come back in. So that's all that the season rollover is doing. Nothing gets deleted. You can always get to the data again once you've rolled the season over, but you definitely want to do it before you start doing any more IMG syncs and building out your dates. Otherwise, you're going to have cross-pollinated information from 2 seasons into the one profile, which is going to require us getting out the comb and cleaning stuff up for you. So please don't do that. So to get to season rollover, there's a little heading up the top explaining what the help topic is about, trying to step you through it. But to save you reading it, let's just go do one now. So I'm just going to go to more, come down to the season rollover. So just realize I've zoomed out a bit, so I'm just going to come back in. Season rollover. G'day, important. Please read this. Cool, read it. Season at the moment is 15-16. Obviously, we're about to start the 16-17. So that's my first little thing saying, yep, that's definitely the wrong season. First step here is we want to archive so we can see the prior seasons that Geelong has. I could come here and I could export out all the results from the 14-15 season. So it's just thinking for a bit. There's a chunky bit of data. These guys roll 700 to 800 members each year and lots of weeks of the year. So there's thousands upon thousands of rows of results data. It's just compiling for me. So I've now just pushed that out and I could go do pivots or lookups or do whatever I need to with that data. So it's not deleted. It's here for me to access. So we're just going to go and put this season away as well. So click on archive. Because it takes a while, especially for big centres like Geelong, I don't want to have to sit here watching a little spinning circle for 20 minutes or whatever it happens to take. It will email me when it's done. So I'm just going to hit the submit button. And then we've got a little protection in here. Make sure you write the word as it's spelt, but also as it's pronounced, as in capitals. Otherwise, it won't kick the process off and it won't go anywhere and you'll email us going, bloody thing's not working. Did you do capitals? No. Okay, do capitals. Oh, it's working now. Great. So that's started kicking off. If I do a refresh, we'll see that the 15-16 will start to appear in this next little lump. There we go. So it's started dividing up. So it started moving stuff down, shoveling it away into the archive. If I go to the home screen, we'll start to see we've already reduced a number of weeks there. If I keep pressing this button, it's going to keep shoveling away through the weeks until it's all gone away. And when it's done, I'll get an email. I don't have my email turned on while I'm doing the presentation, but I'll see it come through on my phone. The other thing that it's going to do is it will pop up with a little symbol here that says update season. So while it's going through that, we can just talk through the next steps. So once it's finished, I'll then update the season by clicking a button, and it'll change this to 16-17. It won't let me change it if I click it twice to 17-18. If I hit it 3 times, so 18-19, it'll only let me do it once, and it's to the current season that we've got dialed in the background. So it won't let you, so you can't mess that up basically. The next step in the process is to suspend all my members. As mentioned, they're not deleted, they're not thrown away. If I wanted to go and see my suspended members, I would come to More, roll down to Prior Seasons Members, and I've got tabs here for the different seasons, and I can export out details to do with everyone that's on the screen. I can click on their names and so on to drill down into their information, but they're not deleted, they're just archived. So again, it's safe to do. Nothing's going to, go to the wrong one. Need to go back to season calendar. Sorry. Here we go, it's finished. I should have an email come through on my phone soon. So I've got a green button here now. There we go, phone just vibrated. So if I click this, the 15-16 will go to, I've got to write that in first. Again, use capitals, just to make sure everyone's conscious of what they're trying to do. We've now got 16-17. So our season is rolled. We've now put this season to bed and it's archived. I can go and export it. Next step, this was last done around this time last year. And at that time, we're going to redo that now. And suspend, boom. This is now done tonight, just now. So if I go back to the home page, that graph's empty. My results are empty, and I've got a fresh season. If I go to season to season calendar, it's telling me I'm in the 16-17 season. So that's a good thing. I want to see that. The final step in the season rollover is your users. Now, traditionally, we haven't been pushing this, and it's just been, use that if you like. But we're making it more of this is great. Geelong have lots of users set up, which is really good. The benefit of users is that it allows with committee members that are coming on and off the committee to be able to have access, and when they're not on the committee anymore, we go and shut them down without having to change the password that everyone's been using. Everyone has their own area and they've got their own password. We can't even see the password. You can also track what people have been up to. So if you click on the little clock, it will tell you what this person has been up to. So if you've got a rogue in the group, well then sweet, track them down, get some proof, then go and have a chat to them. Not that you want that to happen, but that's one of the other benefits. Here, question mark opens up the support area. Just close some tabs down of what the different user types. So a super user, this is everything that they can see. This is what they have access to. A registration person, this is what they have access to, and so on. So it helps you determine what level of user you need to give to different people. They can only have one profile, so one user ID can only have one level associated to it. You can't have super and reports combined. If they need a report one and a results one, then they need to have 2 different hats that they put in for 2 different roles, not mash them together. So now that that's done, have you got active and financial members, Nadine? Did you want to start bringing them in, or you leave the IMG sync alone for now?
I'll leave it because I've got a new registrar, so I want her to
be a part of that. Just for everyone else's case, in case you've forgotten, come up to members, IMG import. Here's the mapping table. Just leave that. If that's how it worked last year, then you don't have to touch that. You'd put your email in and you press this button when you're ready to. And then again, it will start a process. Normally it takes 30, 40 seconds to finish, and that would start building up your graph with your new age genders. And you can do that as often as you like. If you need to do it 10 times in one night because you're doing lots of updates in IMG, just be wary though that IMG offer up this data to us, but it's not always super dynamic. So if you've just changed something and you've got another tab open and you hit IMG sync now, you may not get that data straight away. It could take up to 5 minutes for it to become available to then for us to sync across, and make sure that they're active and they're financial to get your members in. Everyone's comfortable with the rollover process and IMG syncing? Good. Okay, so that's, yep.
Just a question, sorry, Nick.
Yep.
When we first joined the system and we imported our members, they all received an email with their username and password to ResultsHQ. Mm-hmm. Last season, our new members didn't. We had to get them to just hit the I've forgotten my password option, and then it got emailed to them. Is there any way of getting that email automatically generated to our new members?
So yeah, we took that out because some clubs were having issues because they didn't want people to know about it. They wanted to set up the season, get it started, vet it all, then let people know afterwards. So it was causing some clubs more pain than benefit. So the process, which is probably what you're referring to get the news out there to everyone, is if you go to here and we type in family template, we've created a little email template that you can just copy and paste into Communicate as well as the steps. So if we come down here and I copy this, obviously you can change the content around as you see fit. Go to Communicate. When that loads up, are these the steps you did last season? Is this all familiar? Paste this in here.
No, I don't think we did that, did we, Kylie?
No, we haven't used this one at all.
So the idea behind this is Communicate will let you email and SMS out to everyone within your centre. That means...
So Nick, if you just wanted to email a certain age group, can you do that too?
Yeah, absolutely.
Rather than all of the members?
Yep.
Yeah.
So, and you can even SMS them. So let's say if we just talk about this initial one, you want to blanket everyone to say, hey, in case you've forgotten or you're new, welcome to the season. Here's a little YouTube video that we've got for you to explain what the family area looks like. Here's some bits and pieces. Here's a link here, but the main thing you need to do is go and get your password. So click on this link here and put in your email, which is the one you've just received the email on, as your username, and off you go from there. Have a great season. So we're just walking through those steps.
So can we use this as a communication tool for anything that we want to communicate
Absolutely.
to our members, or is
Totally.
it?
Yep.
Yeah.
So you've got lots of different filters. If you want to go and follow up some prior season people, just drum up some more business for your centre, then you could go and hit up everyone that was a part of last season. Hey guys, new season's on. Olympics are awesome. Let's get fired up for the new season. Look to see you soon. Or just my 8 females, and even within there, I only want a particular grouping of people, not every single person that's an 8 female. I could just choose this one and this one, or a bunch of them, and send them a particular email. Put a subject in, put my content, and even add in extra emails that aren't a part of your group. So you may have some other committee people or people helping out. You can include them in the email.
Nick, if someone in IMG has ticked that they don't want to be on the email list, will that follow across?
It should do. So in the family area, it'd be a good one to check, Nadine, but that's what's supposed to be happening. If I just search for someone, there should be mailing list, yes, marketing list, yes, and that should be ticked on or off based on what IMG has as a flag, and then that will flow through to the communicate area. If one family's come to you and says, oh, I can't get my username, can you help me? All you need to do is from the home page, just search for them. So Smith, see if there's any Smiths in here. Oh, not with bad spelling. there's 2. I go, cool. This one here, this family need their password sent to them. They don't currently have an email, so this won't work. I can't email it to them. So let's go put a new email in for this family and save it. Then I can just hit this button and it will send them out an automatically generated email, which is the one that would happen if they did the forgot my password and put their email in. So this just makes it quicker for you to ping someone. Obviously, you don't have to do that if you've got 200 people. That's where the communicator and emailing out some steps to them is quicker. But if it's just one or a handful of people, excuse me, then come in here and hit that and it'll ping them with an email.
Nick, can you actually track who opens the emails?
It's not that fancy. We want to hook up with something like a MailChimp and get that list sharing from here across to MailChimp so you can do all your cool auto triggers and responders and so on from there. But no, it doesn't have any open tracking functionality in there at the moment.
Okay, so I use MailChimp and it's actually very good.
Yeah, big fan of that too.
Yeah, especially when people lie and tell you they haven't opened the email.
You see 10 times like, right, okay. Even forwarded it too. Okay, nice. You can SMS from here too, so great for any emergencies or alerts that you want people to make sure they get, that it doesn't get lost in the forest of their inbox. So you can hook up the SMS functionality. There's a help topic on that one. So we don't manage the SMS, we just push whatever you put in here to that provider. That provider is called 5centsms.com.au. They charge 5 cents per SMS, fancy enough. And so you put credit in that profile, and then every time you send out a bunch of SMSs, they'll start tapping off your credit until you're down to low, and then you'll need to go top it up again. So that's how that function works. And here's the history. Basically, this is my outbox of everything that's been sent. Someone sent hardly anything there by the looks of that. Same again. People just sending some blank messages. This is just the dummy area. And you can see if it was an email or if it was an SMS. So there was one SMS that was sent. That was me. Must have just sent a something or other. So that's what that's about, communicate area. Any questions? Talked about the users. So basics, how do I set up a new calendar meet? It's quite often, even people that have been using this for a few years and then they're off for winter, then they come back, they're still kind of scratching their head, some of them, trying to remember what the steps are. So first things first, get to your calendar. So I can either click on this or I can go up to event and calendar. Either way, I prefer to use the top nav because it's always there regardless of what page I'm on. So I go event calendar. This is what the current demo center full of rubbish and testing and so on is about. But to add a new date, I click on the plus, give it a name. That's a good one. Put a program in if I like. Choose a date so I can use my little scrolly and go somewhere else. If I want to create a brand new program, then I just use my little sticky buttons. And as I press add event, it will now go and create that combination that I've selected. What's happening there? Something it's not happy with, and it's not telling me why. Let me just do a refresh the screen. Okay, let's try again. And age, gender. It's better. Okay, so now here's a little grid of the age, gender combinations that I've just put in. Then I go and put in my next layer and so on. So whatever I put in, it's just going to keep layering up upon layer and building up my different combinations. If I wanted to delete anything because I chose the wrong one, then just putting the mouse on it tells me what it is, and if I want to, I can just delete it. Which also means if there was results underneath that, then I've also just deleted my results, hence the two "are you sure" messages. Instead of looking at it by matrix, I could look at it by list. And here's all the age, gender events that we've just built up. These columns are sortable, so I can click on these however I need to look at it to get better. Then there's a bunch of other options in here. If I'm doing handicapping, or if I want to set up race lane, if I want to do nominations for this particular event, here's all the potential athletes, but I don't want some kids to be a part of it, then I can just tick them off in this screen. Close that tab. Another way to build out a program is to copy an existing meet. So instead of creating a new one, I could go layer on something else now, another week on top of what I've built already. So come in here and choose this date. If I'm not sure what it was, I can go preview. Pretty uninteresting date, that one, nothing in there. Let's go choose, what's this one? Test, preview. There we go. So I want to go and build this up. I want to add it to everything that I've just created on my current matrix. So I want to add it to the screen here. So then I just go copy date, and we'll go and layer it in on top of whatever else I've got there, but it won't duplicate events. It will just bring in what it can based on the gaps in the requirements there. If I had a template set up, I could use the template and choose whichever template I need to do. And again, preview it if I want to, and then go and apply it and bring it in. If I wanted to import something, I was at another center, and I was like, man, that was a cool program. I really want to do that back at our joint. Give it a go. Ask that center to go and export it for me. So they'll just come in here and they'll export it. Email it to you. You'll then come in here, you go browse, and you go and bring it in, and you've now copied their template of whatever that was. So that's the basics options on how to go and create your own meet date. Then if you wanted to make a template out of this week, I'll just click on that Show Advanced, give this a name, and submit it, and this would be another template in my template folder. If we've started the meet and then due to weather we've had to change things, then I'll just come back to Event Calendar, find this meet, click on the eyeball, come and tweak whatever I needed to tweak, either add or delete things if I need to, and then print off some recording sheets, and then off we go again from there. Clear as mud. So that covers off that. Now recording sheets, bunch of options in here. So the button next to this on the home page is recording forms. Again, I can get to it there or by going event recording forms. Choose the relevant date. That's the one we built out just before. Brings up all the relevant events. I can just group it to be one of these or multiples of these, and it'll bring up just that. So if I only want to print my field events because I'm using the gates or other timing apparatuses, then I could just do this. Turn my headers off. I've got options here to choose my age and genders too. If I'm running some age grouping, meaning that I want a combination of age and genders on the one paper, then that's where I do that. If I want to add blank rows at the start of the season, we need extra lines because there's lots of newbies turning up. So we need some nice, neat rows for people to write on. I'll just put everyone back in so we get a bit more data on the screen. If I want to do condensed or regular or extended or my handicap report, then I can. If I'm printing off by age manager, because I've got 10 folders for my 10 different age groups, and that's how I want it printed by age group, then I'll leave it on that, versus if I had 10 folders for 10 different events or event locations, then I could do it by event name instead. So all my shot puts would print off together in one pile, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 shot puts, versus if I left it on the age, it would be all the under 6s and then all the under 7s and so on. But just to show you the difference between regular and condensed, if I go preview, This will bring up the regular screen with my extra blank rows. And I can do a couple sorts if I want it by ID, descending, and then by name ascending, that sort of thing. Then it'll go and mix that combination up for me and relay them out. If I wanted to do condensed one, it looks a bit different. So it's all about getting all the age gender events onto one page instead of one age gender event per page. So bigger clubs tend to use this, the smaller clubs tend to use the condensed one. Any questions on that one? So Wyong, that's probably more a good one for you to have a play with if you haven't already, assuming Nadine and Helen, you guys are pretty comfortable, and Kylie with recording forms.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. So that's, again, any hardware, make sure you guys get it out of the closet, dust off the cobwebs, check the batteries, check the firmware, just give them all a run before your first morning. Nothing worse than turning up on your first morning, realize you don't have any batteries or that those ones are flat, and now you're kind of in a pickle before you even begin. So I know why you guys have already been having a play with things, which is great. Nadine, I'm not sure if anyone's been looking at the gates lately, but just give them a once over before your first morning.
Okay.
So some advanced parts in here: Intercenter competitions and live results hub. That's what we're up to next. Unless there's some more basic bits and pieces that there's questions or issues, or Wyong, maybe I've covered something a bit too quick.
No, all good from Wyong. I'm messaging Mick Crannondon because you're going through things and setting up times with him to sit and have a play and
Yep.
Go out to the oval, set everything up and see how we go.
Okay, that'd be great. So I'll jump into this part now, if you like, the Intercenter Comp and the Live Results Hub. Now, I know Geelong XC, we set up that Live Results Hub for you guys. Did that get used much? Was there any benefit for your centre having that set up?
Yeah, is that the one that we could connect to through the website?
Yeah, so it's still up now.
I definitely want it for summer.
Okay.
Yes.
So just to explain what to everyone, we set up a URL. So I'm just starting to type it now. My computer remembers it. So it's geelongxc.resultshq.com.au. What this is as results are coming in from this date in the past, if we were there on the day, then basically these results wouldn't be there. I'll get rid of, can't get rid of the bottom of my screen. I'm going to close something out. So these little red bricks are appearing every time something is saved or uploaded. In a track and field environment, they wouldn't all be red. You would have some greens and some blues for different throws and jumps. So if you were doing live saves, then anyone with this address, so on your Facebook, you go, hey guys, come and check this out. And you're saving race by race by race from your front straight and your back straight, and someone's using tablets out in the field for long jump, discus, high jump, whatever, and they're pressing save throughout the morning, there would be all these little bricks appearing, and someone could come along and just start checking it all out and seeing what it's about. If they wanted to, they can go and track down historical data from other dates. And if we're running a point score system on the day, then this here would be giving us the who's who by club or centre, who's winning and how they're going based on their points. So it's great for your inter-centre comps or your big carnival type environments where you want to create a bit of extra atmosphere and some live kind of feed or data feeds happening. So you just need to have a chat to us and we'll just set this up. So you'd have your own URL and it would be .ResultsHQ after it. So that's what the live hub's about. So just go to my little info pack. So that's kind of jumped ahead. So an inter-centre competition is what's available for you to use right now. So does anybody actually do this where you invite other centres to come and hang out and have a particular fun day or a carnival day or a gala day that you're aware of in your different areas?
Wyong did one last year for the first time with Tukli.
Yep.
We may look at doing, we're still investigating that, but yeah, so we did that for the first time last year.
Okay, cool.
It was all just recorded because we didn't have any other capabilities of doing that.
So that was paper recorded, is that what you mean, sorry? Or
yeah.
Yep. So the scenario right now, if you guys wanted to, and Tukli are on ResultsHQ, you'd say, hey, you guys, can you please set up, you guys being me and Chris and Matt and Ryan and so on, can you please set up this gala day or whatever you want to call it, the Wyong extravaganza? We go, yep, cool. That's the cool name. I like that. I'll put it up for you. So this would be your new profile. It looks exactly the same as every other profile that's ResultsHQ. Just now it's got a different name and a different login credentials. You go and do what you normally do, set up a date, age, gender, event combinations. Then you'd go about the process of inviting your own center, Tukli and maybe another bunch of others. Your own center, next time you log back in, you'd see a little number. So if I go into demo center, if I go to event calendar, next to my plus button, there's this envelope and there's a 2 on this one. So it's telling me I've got some invites. They're out of date, but there would be an in-date invite and it'd say the host center is the Wyong extravaganza. The invite date is in 5 weeks time and it's whatever you want to call the event is what that will be sitting there. And then you would start nominating in your athletes. Tukli would start nominating in their athletes too. And back in the host profile, the extravaganza profile, you'd start seeing these nominations coming in. And the way you go about inviting another center, this would be, now we're back in the world of the extravaganza profile. And I've just set up this date here. And I just click on the little invite envelope. At the moment, I've got no and no, so I don't want athletes to nominate themselves, but I'm going to turn that on to yes. And I do want the centers to help with that process. Then I'll press save. Now I've got a list of every center around Australia and one over in Singapore that are on ResultsHQ. So go and find whoever it is that I want to invite. Submit. I won't do that now though. They would then have their own line item underneath here with the centers and when you invited them and how many nominations they've put in. And then you could go into each of those centers and start approving those that you want to actually accept in. So Jack Smith has nominated in for 3 of the 5 events you've offered, and you go and approve those.
Cool, that sounds good.
Pretty straightforward. The other cool part is, because it's all dynamic, as we're inviting people and as the nominations are coming through and they're submitting them, then you're approving them, the PB associated to these kids in those profiles is all live. So the moment in 5 weeks' time we're back here and we're printing off the recording sheets or we're starting up the timing software, the PBs at that very moment that we're doing all that will all be live. So if this kid, little Jackie's, had a cracker of 5 weeks and the PB's gone through the roof, we'll know about it, they'll know about it, and it'll all be happening here. Then as they do a new PB here, if that happens, that will also be showing in their family home area and will be a new PB status for just your profile. That PB won't flow back to the original center because it's different track and different whatevers. So, but the child will be able to see that information and you'll be able to see it here as well.
Nick, with the results for the home centre though, will they continue? So if we're the host, will our results continue
So
for that particular event?
So sorry, just say that again.
So let's say we're the host venue.
So this would be Geelong Gala Day sort of thing?
Geelong, yeah, Geelong's going to do one where we invite other people, but we want our results to count. We're going to do a regular program but have invitational.
Yep.
Our results will still stay, but the ones for other centres won't.
So if we haven't set up a new one for you, you're just going to use your standard Geelong profile. Is that the scenario?
Well, no, it'd be better if we had a different one because we're going to have all those centres, and I don't want all those people left on our
That's right.
normal profile
Yeah.
afterwards.
So
but we do want the results for our kids
yep.
to stay.
So the current process is in the host profile, if you need to pass data back to the centre to then go and load into the home profile, you can just export that, go across to here and import it. We are looking to make that a little flick of the switch to say, do you want this to come back? In which case it will. But you can get it back.
Because some of the centres we're inviting are little country ones, and they may well want their results as well to go back to them. But
yeah, so you just export it, cut it up, and shoot back the relevant data to those people.
Okay.
And then they can put it in from there.
Okay.
Cool. So that's the process. And the other cool part is, you may remember seeing on this screen where I had let the kids do it themselves, or the members. If you have that turned on, then when it comes time to people being able to access that information from their family area, which was Nadine's question earlier about couldn't do it on their phone, if they go to the desktop version, there will be a little notification that they've been invited to a particular profile for an event, and you can actually let the kids or the families nominate in so that you're not putting all the responsibility on the centre. The centre can still see it and help vet or critique things, but all the legwork, the original legwork, can be done by the kids or the families. Then turn that off when you want and let the centres finish off any vetting. And then once you've kind of got your close off period, then everyone else is shut down. And it's now up to you, being the host profile, to do the final check and bring in what you want to bring in. So that's what that whole image is all about there. We've had a quick look already at the results hub, so just let us know. You can have your own internal one without us having to do anything. All you need to do is go to events, calendar, click on the date that you want live results to happen. Scroll down, show live results. Then come up here, results hub. And if we were putting in results, that would start to come through. So I'll just do a couple dummy. Which date did I actually turn that on for? I wasn't paying. 30th of August. Okay. We go to the 30th of August and start putting in some results right now. So edit. I'm going to do 12, 13, 14. And just save that, just to be lazy. Come up here to Results Hub. Did I turn the right one on? In theory, that would start showing the live results. So that was a good demonstration on my behalf. Because I've gone to historical, my bad, sorry. Live results means it's live for now, today's date, not for prior dates that I thought I was going into there. So I need to set one up for today being the 31st, and then we'll be able to make that happen. But that's the process there to get that up and running. Any questions? In theory, I'm at the end of my webinar. In theory, we've answered all your questions. How's everyone going? So it's been an hour and a half.
Sorry. Are you there, Nick?
Yep, I gotcha.
Sorry. Can you just show me where we go and turn on and off whether members can see results of other children?
Okay, good question. So if I come up here and I go to More, Family Area Setup, in here, Show All Results, untick that, come down, press Save. That will now turn off in the family area this part here. So this little, this family is not a part of the demo center, so I won't actually turn that off if I refresh, but in theory that then would disappear out of my little top navigation. Also, if you're sensitive about seeing places within your center, it's all about the PBs. Who cares about places? They're silly. Then turn that off and press save. And then that means you wouldn't see any places in the kids area. It would just be PBs and results.
Is the current default that both of those are ticked to be on?
Correct.
Okay.
Any other questions?
I'm sure once we start having a play at Wyong and actually using it, we'll have lots of questions.
Right. Yeah, because have your gates arrived? You've got them already, haven't you? There.
Yep, the gates arrived, but haven't
set
had
them
a
up
play
yet.
with them
Okay.
yet. So
well,
no, that's going to be coming soon.
Okay. Now, just on that point, in case everyone wasn't aware of that, we do a webinar purely on the timing, gates, and hardware and software. So if you wanted to be a part of that at all, that's the link here. We sent an email out, so hopefully everyone got that needed that. But this is the form, and here's the dates and times that those are happening. So we did this one Monday night gone. Anyone got a question on that? So that's where we go through just gates, and it's all about getting them set up and problem solving and cool stuff and questions. So feel free.
Sorry, when's the webinar about the gates on?
That is on. I'll send you this link here. So
Yep.
I'll put it in our little communicate browser area. So everyone should be able to see that in their little kind of message box on the side of their screen. And then that will open up to this screen. And if you come down to the available dates and times, it's every Tuesday. Any other questions?
Are you going through that updated version of the three in those webinars?
That's the main focus we'll be going through for that, to introduce people to it and just talk about any questions or challenges from last season, trying to shortcut those.
Okay, I might try and get my group of timers then to...
Yeah, that'd be perfect, Nadine, if you can do that.
Do that specifically, yeah. Okay. Thanks.
Cool.
Nick, do Wyong have, they obviously have newer software within their gates. Is there much of a difference between their gates and Woy Woy's? Just
internally,
that Renee might come and have a look at how ours work?
All the same, basically. So the firmware on everyone's gates should be the same as far as the software inside the gates. The external polish of the gates may be different between yours and their new ones, but the internal smarts of them should all be the same.
Okay, good.
And that new...
I'll have a chat with you, Helen.
Sorry, what was that, Renee?
I'll catch up with you at school and have a chat with you about that.
Yeah, no worries. You're welcome to come and watch us use them, but I'm not sure you'll be told by the right things. Kylie, what do you think?
Oh, come on, Hel, we're experts now.
Right.
You're very organised. I completely trust you.
New South Wales finest operators right there. So that new 3 series will actually alert you if there is an update to your firmware and let you actually update it while you're in the setup screen as well. So if there is a change or you're running old kit and you weren't aware that there's all these updates, then it would let you know as well.
Nick, you haven't got a CompHQ webinar too, have you?
For the Android or for the Windows?
Well, Windows probably, just because we have 15 operators or whatever.
Happy to do one for you, Nadine. Just if you can organise everyone, and we can jump on and do that by all means. So it's all about trying to be on the front foot this season and to stop any...
I'm sure you'll run it far more professionally than I will, and that's what the other alternative is.
And it means I don't have to drive down to Geelong, so not that I don't want to see you.
Well, that's exactly right.
And
so,
everyone can have a cup of tea or a bourbon and follow along.
All right, I'll have a talk to you about that one if that's okay.
Absolutely. And that goes for anyone else as well. If you've got a little group of users that you really want to nail down and make sure that they're all comfortable for this season and will be on the front foot, then I'm much happier to do that than to try and work on a call on Friday night or Saturday morning and sort out things at that point in time.
Are you saying you don't like my rush calls on a Friday night, Nick?
Some nights I do. Some nights it'd be good just to chill out, but we'll see how we go this season.
I'll try hard not to bother you.
We're here to help, so don't not call. But if you can sort it out before we get to that, that'd be awesome.
This sounds like, Nick, you've got a list of followers who do a similar thing on a regular basis.
Yeah, we've definitely had a good history with some users, so and other ones I don't hear anything from. It just depends, I think, on a variety of elements there.
Woy was pretty good to you last season, I think. We didn't harass you that much.
Some senders, I forget that they've got gates. It's like, oh yeah, cool, they've had a good season, great. So, but that's it for tonight, guys. Unless you've got any other questions or you want to organise other catch-ups, then please let me know. But otherwise, I think we may be at the end of tonight's session.
Thank you very much. It's been quite valuable.
Great.
Yeah, thanks, Nick. That was great.
Awesome, guys. Well, thanks for your time and enjoy the rest of your evening. And so
Thanks,
I'll
Nick.
post this up on YouTube along with a little take-home pack as well. So keep an eye out for an email.
Thanks, Nick.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank
Have a good
you.
night.
Bye.
Bye.